went the opposite direction. Someplace where he'd never even been, and the police finally called and said, we have so-and-so, and he gave us your number. He called it my sister Ann. Well, my sister Ann felt very upset to think she hadn't seen to it that he went down the road, and instead he turned around and went the other way. So she went and went to where they were keeping him 200 or 300 miles away, and trailed him back to her place where they were going to keep him, because my son Raymond was going to come and get him. And my son Raymond left the truck there so his dad could not run away in a truck. After that, in his truck. So after that, he ran away on foot. So he had to go on foot. He figured he couldn't get very far on foot. Well, he was wrong. He disappeared again, and when the cops finally brought him home 2 or 3 days later, his feet were bleeding. Oh my God!
What?
His feet were bleeding.
Well, let me ask you a question now.
This guy, he was an extremist.
Let me ask you a question here.
So
I thought you people up there wore cowboy boots and stuff like that. See, now I wore sandals.
Oh no, they were bleeding inside of his shoes because he walked
see,
so
now
long.
you didn't say that.
Oh no, he wasn't barefoot. God, he hadn't got that bad. But so when he finally disappeared above the escalator, in the Las Vegas desert, you know, I really couldn't say that this took us by complete surprise. And it was thought that he'd be found in a few days. No. He's never been found. And it's been 4 years, so this time I don't know what happened, but he did a real disappearing. And, of course, my son, who had hip surgery right at the time, and boy, he was feeling pretty rugged. He felt bad. He couldn't even go down and walk the desert, try to find him for a couple of months. And by then, you know, the trail was probably, well, who knows what happened to him. I went and looked at the territory. I couldn't even imagine him walking out in that barren desert, hardly any plants or anything, just walking. But I don't know. And so, anybody want to see Bohemian Cowboy and hear my son's take on his dad? And he and Raymond sang all the time. My ex-husband had a wonderful sense of music. He could harmonize with anybody. And so when he got around singing, he'd just come alive. He would sing no matter what. Yeah, he liked that. My favorites of his.
We meet again.
Yeah.
Back in the saddle again, yo.
Some of his favorites were that he'd do were El Rancho Grande. He would get all the people up and dancing and on that one. Then he'd drink my Java from an old tin can.
Oh, yeah. that was one of my better. I always loved that one the first time. You know, one of my favorite songs when I was growing up, when I was playing the piano, and I know it was one of sheet music. The name of the song was, and the melody sort of went, how could you believe me when I told you that I love you, when you know I've been a liar all my life? I don't think that was a country western song. No.
Oh, it fit the sentiments. But he'd sing another riding down the canyon, tumbling tumbleweeds. My ex Dean had a beautiful tone in his voice, sort of a sadness, because his mother died when he was very young, 4 years old. I don't think he really ever got over it. It was like he had been shattered so bad that he couldn't hardly get himself back together. And I think that was the key to some of these things that he did and the way he chose, well, the way his life went. And so my son, he did his best to sing with him. My son studied his guitar skills for a number of years so he could accompany himself and his dad. And they sang right up until, because that was the last big pleasure that my ex had, was singing. and singing with his son, Raymond. So
what you're
Bohemian
saying-
Cowboy in Austin, Texas.
So what you're saying is that you didn't pleasure him enough.
Oh, and it's at the Hyde Park Theater.
Well, yeah, a lot of people are going to really jump.
Yeah,
on
Hyde
that.
Park Theater. If you're in Austin, take a look. It's playing Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday. Now, these are off nights, but this is what he took in order to get to Austin to do this show. So,
Now tell me more about how you put up with this guy for 10 friggin' years.
well, he just finally disappeared.
No, I mean,
Or I disappeared out of his. I did this.
10 years
That's
of
how I got even.
disappearing?
I disappeared.
Holy crap.
Said, how do you like that, buddy?
Hey, listen, I'll tell you something. David Copperfield couldn't do any better than that. And he works out of Las Vegas, you know. I mean, he disappears, but
Yeah.
he shows back up again.
Well, it was quite a story. So, anyway.
I don't think, listen, if I was married to a woman who would disappear and then come back and say, gee, I'm sorry.
I got real good at disappearing myself because he'd go to
Yeah.
work and I'd pack all the clothes, get the kids, and leave. You know, when we come home, no wife, all our clothes. You know, so.
I believe they call that disappearing on your basis, right?
So we just made a habit of disappearing from each other. So
It's a disappearing artist. there.
yeah, right.